Hi everybody, my name is Alan and I run The Artful Bear. So welcome to my first YouTube video. I do a lot of videos on Instagram, never of myself talking, so this is kind of a new challenge for me. So if you do stick with me, you might learn something from my videos. I'm hoping that I can share some of the techniques and knowledge that I've picked up along my kind of year-long journey with resin so far. So I'm hoping I can pass some of that knowledge on. So stick with me and we're going to go through some kind of basics of resin. We'll talk about safety, we'll look at some techniques. Resin is one of those things that it is kind of your best friend and your worst enemy at the same time. So I do know the stress of when you're trying to get something right and it just keeps going wrong. It is a trial and error process, so stick with me and let's learn some techniques together. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is safety. So with resin, you have to be very careful. Most companies will say that resin is safe, it's safe to use in your home, and a lot of the times they're lying. What they tend to talk about is before you actually mix it, yes, it is safe, but once you mix it, it does create a chemical reaction and then it's going to release fumes. So the first thing we're going to look at is a mask. You want to make sure that you've got a good respirator. You need to make sure that the filters are for organic vapors. That's the most important thing. Ideally, it should be a full face filter. I know a lot of hardcore resin artists would probably come after me saying this is no good. This works so far, but realistically a full face filter is the best. What I have is a respirator and I've got goggles. Now these goggles, yes, they'll protect my eyes a little bit, but they're vented. They shouldn't be vented. So if you're going to have a two-piece setup, you need to make sure your goggles are not vented or just tape off the vents so they're okay. So these are the two most important things. Do not make resin without them. I made the mistake of working with resin quite a bit and never using any mask, and I did feel the difference in my breathing. So make sure, just be safe with that, because resin reactions can be quite extreme. If you have a reaction once, it can actually mean that you're allergic to it, and then it can kind of prolong and get worse each time. So safety first. First we're going to talk about gloves. So you want to make sure that you've got good nitrile gloves. There's a lot of different gloves available, but from what I found, nitrile tend to be the best ones to work with when it comes to resin. Now, some people can have skin reactions when it comes to nitrile, and if that's the case, just wear a different glove underneath and then a nitrile glove on top, or you can even wear a woolly glove and nitrile on top. But make sure you've got gloves, protect your hands. You're going to be working with them, it's going to get messy, you are going to get resin on your skin. If that does happen, really just wash your hands thoroughly immediately. Stop whatever you're doing. Do not try and keep working with your resin, because I know resin has a time period to work with. Stop and just go wash your hands, because you do not want that to set on your skin. So, gloves, important. The last thing I'll talk about in terms of safety is ventilation. So they do say that technically you should never do resin in your house. Now I do it in a spare bedroom where no one is using, so it's okay. And the windows are always open. Now a lot of people will say that is not good enough ventilation. They do say you need to have kind of an air vent system in place. Obviously that takes a lot of money, or you need to do it outside. I'm based in Ireland. We get maybe 2 sunny days a year. That's not going to work. So you have to make do with your setup, but you also have to be aware of the risks associated with that. So if you are going to do it in your home, understand the risks, understand what you're doing. Obviously keep it away from where children and animals particularly are going to be. But yeah, if you're going to do it at home, you can just take as much precaution as possible. I only do it quite part-time, so for me I think the risk is minimal. Again, a lot of people would probably argue with me on that, and that's fine, each to their own. But the other thing we'll say is, one tip people give is make sure you have no exposed skin. So you'll see some people do this in full hazmat suits. I don't do that. I don't find I need to. If I do have a reaction and all the PPE gear I have is not working, then okay, I might take into account that okay, I need to cover more skin, because your skin absorbs everything. It's an organ, so it can absorb those vapors. So just to be careful about that. If you are quite sensitive, or you realize you maybe have a sensitivity to resin, you might have to wear a full hazmat suit. So that's really it for safety. Goggles, important. Face respirator, most important. Full face, preferably if you can get it. And make sure it's real and it fits properly. Gloves, very important. Ventilation, very important. Keep it away from kids and animals. And yeah, that's pretty much what we need for safety before we get started with resin. So let's get going. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the brand of resin I use. There's so many different brands out there. Some are quite cheap, some are quite expensive. Resin in general, even cheap ones, are not cheap. Resin is a very expensive hobby to get into. So if you are getting into resin and you're new to it, definitely understand it's going to cost you a lot of money. You're probably going to spend a lot of money before you make money, so do keep that in mind. For me, this started off as a mindful hobby. I never came into this to actually make some money. For me, it was just I seen a pyramid online, I loved it, and I thought, oh, I wonder how you make that. And a YouTube video like this taught me how to make that. So that's kind of why I want to create videos. I want to give back because that's how I learned. But definitely research a resin. Pick a brand that you think is going to work for you. They all have different ratios and weights you have to mix with. They all have different setting times and working time. So definitely find what works for you. I found my brand is Just For You Online UK. So this is the brand here. It's probably backwards in the video, but maybe when I upload it, it will be the other way around. But this is Just For You Online UK premium epoxy resin. And it's the 4K kit, so you get 2 kilos of resin, 2 kilos of hardener. The reason I've stuck with Just For You Online UK is I find their products are just pure class. They are really good products. They have a good working time. It's easy enough to mix. If you're going by weight, it's 1 to 0.9. Very easy to work that out. If you're stuck, you use a ratio calculator. It'll tell you exactly what you need. And if you're going by volume, it's equal volume. So I prefer to go by weight. I like numbers. I think that works for me. You'll find what works best for you. I like this product because, to be honest, the company are just amazing to deal with. The ladies that run the company, they just have impeccable customer service. If I've ever had an issue, which has been minimal, they're on it straight away. They're just really nice to work with, and they have amazing high quality products. I do have a discount code for Just For You. That's not why I stick with them. Without the discount code, I think they are great. So if you do want that, I will link it somewhere below or in the video. I don't really know how this works yet, but there will be a discount code for 10% off on their website. And they have resins, they have silicone molds, they have glitters, all the glitters in the world, and you know, glitter makes everything better. They have epoxy pigment pastes, they have everything you need basically. So that is the brand I work with. And a lot of my supplies, like my glitters, my pigments, tend to come from Just For You Online UK. So do check them out. I'll probably link them somewhere below as well. And yeah, have a look. So I think that's enough for my first YouTube video. I just wanted to kind of give a bit of an introduction. Don't even know if I said my name, by the way. My name is Alan. I think I did say it at the start. Yeah. So see, I'm awkward on these videos because they're new. So I just wanted to give an introduction to me, to resin in general, safety. They're the first things you should know and learn before you do anything when it comes to resin. I will go through some projects I'm working on. I'll give you a step-by-step kind of process of what I'm doing. I'll record some videos of me making stuff and then just kind of do voiceover so I can give you steps as I'm doing it. And hopefully you can learn from that. What I will say is, there seems to be a lot of artists out there that are afraid to give tips and afraid to tell people what they do. And I think that's a scarcity mindset. It's kind of like, if I tell you how to do it, then you're going to do it and people will go to you instead of me. I don't believe that's how things work. I believe if you're selling this stuff, there is enough people in the world that everyone can sell. So I learned how to do this by getting help from other people. That's why I want to give help as well. So I will link my Instagram somewhere, when I figure out where to link it. And if you have any questions, if there's anything you want to know, just send me a message. Don't be afraid to do that. I love helping people start their resin journey as well. So yeah, send me a message. If you like this video, I think you should subscribe, you should like it, you should share it. I don't know, whatever you do on YouTube, do it because it will help me. And as this is new, I do want to help. I want this to grow. So come follow me on Instagram and like and share this video. See you later.